Hey there, everyone. So it's another live session that I'm trying to kick off and see how things go with regards to any questions and answers you may, or any questions you may have with regards to anything to do with fitness, etc. So today there was a bit of a conversation that we had with some clients about pooing, basically, and going to the bathroom. And there's a bit of misconceptions, or should I say, worries that come up with regards to this whole situation. So, what generally happens is that when we see, folks going on a diet, etc., one of the few things that pops up is that they get very concerned because now all of a sudden they're not going to the bathroom as regularly. They're not going and defecating, and then they start thinking, "Oh, I need to get some fiber supplements or something along those lines." So, I just want to sort of take this on one step at a time. So, when you go into a cut or calorie deficit or a diet, or you're trying to lose body fat, your bowel movements are going to slow down. And the reason behind that is because you're not eating as much as you used to. And that's the big thing behind it. So, before you were eating, say, I don't know, unknowingly or knowingly, you were eating maybe, say, 3,000 odd calories. Now, all of a sudden, you've been put onto a diet and you're eating maybe 2,500, or you can, somewhere along those lines. So, straight away, the volume of food that's coming in is slowing down. So naturally, there's going to be nothing to pass if you don't have things to pass. So that's the first thing, and that's a completely normal thing. I mean, if you go into a cut, generally you can slow down going to the bathroom from. I know some guys who are going like twice or three times a day, to even slowing down to maybe once every 2 or 3 days. It is normal. It does really happen. It does depend on how much food you were eating originally, etc. So other things that to take into consideration. So that's the one thing to take into consideration. The other thing to take into consideration is maybe things are slowing down because you're actually eating better quality food. Now, what generally happens there? So if you stop eating all the hyperly processed foods, a lot of the sweets, sugars, and things like that, you're gonna have a lot of mass in there, of sort of junk mass, for lack of a better term, and then you're just gonna pass that through your system. So not all of it's getting absorbed. Whereas when you're eating whole foods, or you're eating higher quality foods, so not processed, etc., your body's going to be absorbing a lot more of those foods, of those nutrients. So there's going to be a lot less bulk or a lot less mass to actually defecate out, basically, at the end of the day. So, if you think about it this way, if we're stripping down whatever we have and we're utilizing every part of it, then there's not going to be much to, go through the rest of the system. If it's just, empty calories, etc., and it's just, junk, basically, and there's not really a lot for the body to use, except for maybe the sugars, etc., then it's just going to pass that along and get rid of it and just, defecate it out, and there's just no point keeping on to it. So that's two reasons why you're going to have less stuff to push out. Sorry, that was a terrible way of putting it, but you got less stuff to actually go to the bathroom and go as regularly now. So that's the other thing. Another point to take into consideration is, hydration. So if you're not drinking as much water, so when we eat foods, generally you're getting a lot of water from your foods. So you are meant to have about 3 liters of water a day. 1 liter generally comes from whole foods, etc. So if you're not getting all 3 liters of water from your diet, or however you get, you're not getting all 3 liters of water, that's going to slow things down. So if, for example, say you're not hydrating enough, when you have the fecal matter in your intestines and there's not enough water, your intestines are actually going to take water from the fecal matter, and that's just going to slow things down, because your body's going to search for water. Wherever it's going to find it, it's going to go for it and then pull that into the bloodstream. So being hydrated, getting a lot of water, is a huge component behind going to the bathroom and being regular on the bathroom. So that's just something else to consider. Now, the one thing a lot of guys tend to get wrong, especially my male clients, is they don't eat enough vegetables. Okay. So it's like dealing with my kids. Please eat your vegetables. You got to eat your greens. You got to eat this. You got to eat that. No, no, no. I don't like vegetables. Don't like vegetables. And then they worry. They're not sure why they're not going to the bathroom because they're not getting enough fiber. Now, the general reaction when you say this to a client, oh, you're not getting enough fiber, that's why you're not going to the bathroom, they turn around and say, oh, okay, can I take chia seeds, or can I take flaxseed, or can I take some sort of a high fiber food supplement, or can I get a laxative, or whatever the case may be. Now, yes, you can do that, but that's not really solving the problem, okay? You want to be integrating these sort of vegetables, not just from a fiber perspective, but you also want the vitamins and minerals from the foods. Okay, we need those vitamins and minerals for our bodily functions, for everything to be running actively and correctly. But then the mistake is that people go and get all these high fiber foods. So let's say selenium husk, for example, and they go and take a large amount of it, a tablespoon or whatever the case may be, 2-3 times a day, and then they get frustrated because now they're even backed up even further because now they're using all the fiber, and it gets even worse. So what's happening there is you're taking too much too quickly, and your body can't process it, and you're not drinking enough water to actually help that fiber move along in your digestive tract. So that is the other problem when you start saying, oh, we're going to do a quick fix and we're just going to throw more fiber at it, and we're going to use these high fiber foods like chia seeds, flax seeds, and selenium husk. Yes, they do have a role and you can utilize them, but you got to be a bit smart about it. You can't just go and ram it in there because it's just going to block things up, especially if you don't have enough water. So that's another problem, or something that a lot of people go and do trying to fix the problem, but they're actually making the problem a lot worse. Now, the other thing I want to touch on that a lot of guys and girls get confused is about, oh, I'm constipated. And are you constipated, or you just haven't gone to the bathroom for a while? And what I mean by that is that a lot of people say, oh, I'm constipated because I haven't gone to the bathroom in a long time. But it might just be, as I mentioned earlier, that you don't have enough stuff to actually push through. Versus versus actually not having bowel movement. So what I always ask my clients is, okay, are you saying that you're constipated because you haven't gone in 2 days or 3 days? Or are you saying that you're constipated because you haven't gone and you can actually feel heavy down in your digestive tract? If you're feeling heavy in your digestive tract and you haven't gone to the bathroom, that's constipation, because that means that there's stuff there, it just hasn't passed. It's not getting passed through. So that can be, again, fiber. It can be hydration, can be a lack of fats in the diet. So those are things that can also be accountable to you not going to the bathroom. Versus, I actually feel fine. I don't feel heavy in my digestive tract. I just haven't been for so many days. So when it comes to going to the bathroom, these are things that a lot of people get a little bit strung up on. These are some of the things that a lot of people get strung up on, and they think, oh, I haven't gone to the bathroom, so now there's a problem. And then they go on to crazy fixes. Now, the other thing that you can look at is, these sort of natural laxatives and things like that. Again, this is not fixing the problem. This is just fixing this, just pushing onto the symptoms. Now, if you are indeed constipated, okay, and you feel like you need to go to the bathroom, but nothing's actually happening, things that you can do is slowly increase your fiber content. So this can be from your vegetables, just pushing up your vegetables, bringing in probiotic foods or highly fermented foods. So these things can be sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, and things like that, because it might be a problem with your gut microbiome as well, that there's not enough bacteria in there to actually pass things along. So go slowly with some fermented foods and bring that into your diet and see if that changes things. That is also going to be a majority fiber in there, so you don't really need to go for like fiber supplements, etc. If things are still not moving after you've brought in fermented foods, then you can potentially look at bringing in something like chia seeds or selenium husks, etc. But do it slowly. Do it, don't go and hammer a whole bunch of it. Do it slowly. So I would probably go with maybe a teaspoon once a day, even up to maybe a tablespoon once a day, but I wouldn't go much higher than that. Have it at night, drink a lot of water with it, give it an opportunity to pass through, and see how things work from there. If you're still having issues, then you can look at things like magnesium citrate, which is going to act like a laxative. So you're going to take a lot of it and it's going to push everything through. Or something that I personally use is senna, which is a tea extract that will act like a natural diuretic. In South Africa, it's called Black Forest tea. You can get it from there. You drink that. It is quite aggressive. So it takes a bit of time to actually kick in. It takes about maybe 8 hours, but you'll actually start getting stomach cramps and then you'll pass through whatever's in there. Again, these are things that I do personally. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. So, take this. This is just how I do things when I'm dealing with, proper constipation. And it is something I don't use that as the solution. It's just something that if I'm really battling, then I'll jump in and use something like a natural laxative. But generally, for myself in particular, I find that if my vegetables are low or my fermented foods are low, so this can be yogurts, sauerkraut. So for me personally, it's usually yogurt and sauerkraut are my go-tos. If those are low for me, then I have difficulties and I have issues. So I know that I just need to up those. If I'm still having issues, then I will look at how much actual quality vegetables am I getting. So this is from broccoli, cauliflower, um, green beans, carrots, all the vegetables. And then if nothing's still working after that, so I'm taking, maybe I'll start adding, then I'll add some selenium husks or chia seeds at night, and then just see how that works. And then I'll go on to constipation, laxative type medicines, etc. Now, you can start adding things like chia seeds to maybe a breakfast meal or something like that, if you are inclined to do that sort of a stuff. If you want to add it into your oats or do overnight oats, you can put chia seeds into that. But again, just go slowly. Don't go dump 2-3 tablespoons into a glass. I would rather you go nice and slow and just get your body used to it. All right, so that is my little take on poo. If you've got any other questions or any other things you'd like for me to talk about, just please comment on the video, like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, please. It helps me to grow and give more information. If you enjoy this information, keep pushing the message across so I can, get some feedback, and then it helps me, encourages me basically to continue doing this sort of stuff. And yeah, if you need anything, just give me a shout, DM me, drop a comment, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless. Thanks. Bye.